So you guys were I'm hearing a lot of you guys wanted a theme song shortened, so here we go. This girl reviews movies, games, and books. Sometimes she plays them. So does that, and when she does it with the cat, does that make her crazy? Does that make her crazy? Probably. So, it's shorter. There you go. Crazycatlady or Martha Butler does not own any trailers or pictures. I use them under fair educational for and entertainment purpose. It's like it's all they did. Well, those years ago. See? Now I don't want to do any more of it. So, hi everyone, Martha here. I finished listening to the Tower of Nero, the last Trials of Apollo book. So this one was pretty good for the last book in the series. We finally get to fight Nero and finally learn how to say one of these emperor's names. He's just one to say. So that's good. And Python, the two main bad guys in this book. We meet Lewis, I think her name is, who is kind of helps Meg during this, and also I have a little thing to show you guys about the preview for Oswald's part of Dreamlight Valley up here, so enjoy that bit. So we got another thing on Twitter that I want to show you guys. It's called, that's for Disney Dreamlight Valley since I brought it up in this video. Uh-oh, this guy is broken again. You might want to head to Eternity Isle and look into that on Wednesday. So, yeah. Alright, cool. So, that's them doing their little Oswald thing. So that's basically it. Hope you guys enjoyed that little bit. Now back to the review. And so Lucasawa, that's her name. Lucasawa is wanted to train Meg, and actually was like the best thing to like her having a actual mom, since Demeter still hasn't met her daughter at all in this book. You would think that at the end of this book they would meet, but they don't. Just to remind us how badly these Greek gods are to how bad a parent they are to them. So we end up, they are on a train. They get thrown out of the train by Lucasawa's because they have Nero's guards coming after them, and they beat like a two-headed snake thing, and they go to Sally Jackson's house. We find out that she's no longer pregnant, and this we meet Paul and Percy's little sister Stella, and they do spend a little time there, like a little rest, because we find out that there's cameras there and that Nero's taken over the city. Oh no! And they decide to go to the Camp Half-Blood to get Will and Nico, because we have a prophecy of we need Hades' son, and there's only one Hades' son to help us, and that's Nico. So we have to go down there, and we see Dionysus there this time. Chiron is not there right now, so basically it's Dionysus there to tease his older brother, that's saying that his punishment is worse than his, because unlike him, at least he gets to keep his godhood, while he's stuck babysitting a bunch of kids for 100 years. And he thinks that Apollo got it worse than him. So by now, basically Apollo has trying to own up to his mistakes as a god, because he's learned He's seen people die around him, and he's trying to do his best to make sure nobody dies this time. Even a silly arrow that speaks Shakespearean speech, because that ends up helping him at the end of this book, and ends up dying. Because he finally shoots it. So, and the guy who I'm listening to this, doing this, is doing a great job of doing the voice acting in here. I gotta praise him for that, Robert Corback. Nice job, buddy. And because you can totally tell every time you hear him talking and somebody else is doing one of the other character's voice, especially when it does the crawdads, that the thing that sounds like he's doing like a weird frog voice. And so they go to Rachel's after they get Will and Nico to help them, because they want to see if Rachel can help them with any more prophecies. And we find out that Python is inside of doing the Oracle of Delphi, and every time one time she does a prophecy, it's through Python's voice, and this guy's voice does a great job of sounding like a snake, and how you find out that Hollow will have to face the snake by himself, and so they have to learn he has to learn to go to Nero's, and Nero was gonna burn down New York. Then at the end of the day, if Apollo doesn't surrender himself with Meg, and when they get there, all of Camp Half-Blood comes to help them, and again they want him to surrender himself, or they will poison the campers, even the new ones. And Lewis, she ends up getting her arms cut off for betraying Nero by an 8-year-old kid who is one of Nero's demigods, and the kid does not want to do this, but he's literally forced to do this. And the fact that he runs off right when the battle begins, you really feel sorry for this poor kid, and you barely know him, because he's probably horrified for what this guy made him do. So, and he's gonna poison all these kids, and the Crawdads characters, when they're like frogs that we meet earlier, that like wear hats and stuff like them, and they're offering to help them. And after we battle some bulls, that we find out that are like basically drawn to anger. They're like the real version of Toro, and if they fall down, they get swallowed by their anger. So the frog guys are gonna get rid of the poison. Well, it's Meg's and Apollo's job to distract Nero, which always happens in these books. Is how fast can the character keep the bad guy talking about themselves, and how many remotes does Nero have? Like, you have to wondering, is this guy trying to watch TV a lot or something? And Meg almost goes back into her old persona of not standing up to him, but eventually she gets the other demigods to like turn against him, and it's up to Apollo to fight Nero. And since he is Apollo's son, just like Will, both of them do glow, and Apollo starts to have some of his godly persona coming. And after he beats Nero, we see all the gods, most of them here, watching Apollo at his progress of getting his life back, getting his godlyhood back. We see our Hermes and Ares having like a little bet going on. I guess Hera is involved in it too, because she's the one that ends up winning. And we have Hera, who's freaking crying right here, and that surprises Apollo. Me too. But we find out it's actually she's crying over Jason dying, since technically that was her favorite son that Zeus had. And Zeus just wants everybody to be quiet while they're watching this, and make sure that Apollo succeeds in this trial, so they can get the Fates back into control stuff. And we do see the Fates here because they're the ones that predicted that Nico would help them. And Nico does help them because he's the one that saves Apollo a couple times in this book. And Artemis is the only one that's really defending him, like a good twin sister she is. And we don't see Demeter here. We do see her later. Well, she says later on that Apollo was a good servant to my daughter. That's all she says to him. And this is when you go fight the snake. And Apollo almost gets killed the whole entire time. We do have a little time where he tries to hypnotize him, but it doesn't work. And it takes him to use all of his arrows to defeat this snake. And they both fall down into Hades. And he just has to keep on kicking him and stuff like that in order to beat him. And with the Shakespearean arrow in his eyes. And that ends defeating him, and he gets his godlyhood back, and he wants to go and see everybody because he mentions them, because it takes him like 2 weeks for him to come back to being a god after to help him heal. Then we find out that Hera won the bet, and Poseidon does not say one single word. He just wants to go back to get back to doing his job. And so he goes to see everybody who's part of his quest and see how they're going. And we also have like a little time where one of the dreams that Jason talks to him and like encourages him and tells him to continue on. But he sees Camp Half-Blood. He sees his horses, which he has them. He splits his body into two, so one of his part of him can go and make sure everybody has a good day, no storms, and for the whole world. While his other self goes and say hi to all his friends. They goes to Camp Half-Blood, sees all the campers there, see Will and Nico, and we have a little bit prediction what happens in the next book, which I have not read yet, and they only knows that these two have to go on a quest. We don't know what it is. It might have to do with Tartarus, but we don't know. And I'd rather not know until I listen to it. Whenever that will be. And he goes to see him and Dionysus to play Pinochle a couple times that day. And then he goes and sees Camp Jupiter. We finally see Annabeth and Percy. And we find out that they're going to go to the school there, and Annabeth wants to be an architect, while Percy has not decided. Something to do with water, but they can't be in the same room together. Too bad. When they're sleeping, it's not co-ed. Then we go and see Piper. Piper's a little surprised because she's hanging out with her friends, and she's still mourning over what happened with Jason, basically. Oh yeah, we saw Leo, and he is not with his girlfriend right now because she's going to high school, and he's still learning how to be around girls. Cleo, I think. And so he said he's just helping around kids at doing teaching them like how to build tents, stuff like that. And we see Josephine there, who's might be one of Apollo's kids, with her mom's there, and we see Hera, Rhea and Talia. Then we go and see Meg last, and Apollo gives her a unicorn. Because at first she was not going to give her anything, but then she asked, "Can I have a unicorn for helping you open the world out?" And we see all the other Nero demigods there learning how to garden. Good for them. So yeah, and then that's how the book ends. So let's read the last page to you guys, like I usually do. I still don't have the answers. I do not have the cane bag filled with more gold and silver than I could ever spend in a lifetime. My bag, my magic is such. I can carry anything as long as I can fit through the opening. I can spin my spear inside it. I carry the spent a knife and piece of full sword and open or bigger and be tempted to carry inside of lost myself and disappear. What matters how the carol bars and the bird wing, yet it's my heaviest burden. I have no. It's all I have left of my father and my foster mother. Okay, Rio. So, reader, I've come to the end of my trials, and you have followed me through my 5 volumes of adventures and 6 months of pain and suffering. By my reckoning, you have read 210 of my haikus. Like Meg, you have surely deserved a reward. What would you accept? I am fresh out of unicorns. Darn it! However, anything that you take to aim to fire the best shot anytime you seek out to put out your emotions into a song or a poem, or I know a small upon you. We are friends now. Call me when you're, and I'll be there for you. So yeah, I'm probably gonna give this one like a 9 out of 10. The next book I'm probably gonna reading or listening to is the Major Chase, the gods of as the place where those gods live in North mythology, Asgard. The Sword of Summers, and then I'll probably listen to the Serpent Shadow, then probably Demigod's Diaries and Camp Have Blood Affections, but I'm gonna get more of the other books too. So that's basically it, guys. See you guys later, and like, subscribe, and bye-bye.